This is 3 years ago. I want you to look at your notes app on your phone. I know exactly what's in there. And this is bad. It's a graveyard. It's a graveyard of $1 million ideas that never saw the light of day. You have the perfect plan for a podcast. You have the perfect strategy for your new website. And you have the perfect org chart for when you finally hire that manager. But let me ask you a question that is going to hurt a little, just like it hurt me when I show you this. How much of that actually exists in the real world? We tell ourselves we are strategizing. We tell ourselves we are measuring twice to cut once. We'll convince ourselves that is research, it's work. But if we're being radically transparent here for a second, we're hiding. We're hiding behind this shield of perfectionism. We are terrified that if we launch something imperfect, we will look foolish. We are scared that if the audio isn't studio quality or the logo isn't award-winning, people will find out that we are frauds. So we polish and we tweak and we wait. And while you're waiting, someone with half your talent and a quarter of your plan, it's out there winning simply because they are moving. Today, I'm going to help you break that cycle. I'm going to walk you through the execution audit, the exact system I use to force myself to ship work before I feel ready. I'm Johnny Terra, and this is Go Make a Dollar. Let's get to work. Before we get to the worksheet, I need you to understand the physics of business. There is one rule that trumps everything else. You cannot steer a parked car. Think about the mechanics of that. You can sit on your driveway and you can grip that steering wheel until your knuckles are so white. And you can adjust the mirror just perfect. You can program the GPS for the most efficient route possible. But if the car is not moving, turning the wheels does absolutely nothing. You're just grinding your tires into the pavement. To change direction, you need momentum. Most of you are trying to figure out the perfect path before you even turn the keys. You're waiting for all the traffic lights to turn green before you leave the house. But here's the reality. You only get data when you are in motion. When I started my career, I had to walk 12 blocks to work because I didn't have a car. If I had waited for the perfect commute, I would have lost the job. I had just started walking. I learned the route by walking, not by planning. The intention operator values speed of implementation over the perfection of the plan. So how do we start the car? We use this, the execution audit. Part 1 is the inventory. I want you to write down the top 3 projects you've been delaying. Those are the 3 parked cars in your business. Maybe it's I launched the website, maybe it's hired admin, maybe it's to fire that nightmare client. And next to it, I want you to write the excuse. Be honest. What is the lie you're telling yourself right now? Oh, I need to do more research. I'm waiting for Q2. Oh, I need to figure out the exact tax implications first. Just write it down. When you see it on paper, you realize how flimsy the excuse actually is. Now, here's the secret sauce. This is how you break the paralysis. For each parked car, we are going to identify the MVA, the minimal viable action. The rule is simple. It must be the smallest possible action you can take right now to create momentum. And here's the constraint. It must take less than 15 minutes. If it takes an hour, it's too big. Will brain you reject it. We need something so small that it's become ridiculous not to do it. Okay, so let us look at some real examples from the worksheet so you can see how this works. The first example was the website. Here's the trap. You're spending weeks looking at the color palettes, researching designers, and trying to write the perfect About Me page. You are overwhelmed by the size of the project. Here's the MVA. Just go to GoDaddy and buy the domain. It takes about $10 in 5 minutes, and that's done. So why does this work? Because until you buy the domain, the website is a fantasy. Once you spend that $10, it is a project. You now have skin in the game. So here's a separate example. Hiring an admin. You're worried about the payroll, taxes, liabilities, and asking the right interview questions. You're scared of hiring the wrong person. Here's the MVA. Open a Google Docs and write 3 bullet points describing the job. Just 3 tasks you hate doing. Done. You don't need a full contract yet. You just need to define the pain you are trying to solve. So now let's look at example number 3. Starting a podcast. Here's a trap. You're researching microphones, studio phones, and hosting platforms. You're watching YouTube videos about how to edit audio. Here's the MVA. Take out your phone, open the voice memo app, and record a 30 seconds intro. Done. Do you see what we're doing there? We're shrinking the task. We're removing the friction. Action feels action. The hardest part of the working out is putting on your shoes. The hardest part of writing a book is writing the first sentence. The MVA gets you past the starting line. Finally, look at the bottom of the audit. That is that 70% launch commitment. We operate on the standard that high-level leaders use everywhere, from the Marine Corps to the Fortune 500 boardrooms. It is that 70% rule. If you have 70% of the information and 70% of the plan, you go. Waiting for that last 30%, waiting for certainty, comes at a cost, and that cost is speed. There's a great line from the movie Ender's Game where Colonel Graft says, "You don't go when you're ready, you go when you're ready enough." You have to accept that you will learn the remaining 30% in the arena. You will never learn it in the library. You have to sign a contract with yourself that says, "I acknowledge that it will not be perfect. I will fix it as I go. Action precedes perfection." Listen to me. Your business is not a final exam. Your business is a laboratory. You are supposed to experiment. You are supposed to break things. You're supposed to get your shoes dirty. And when you adopt this mindset, the fear disappears. You stop worrying about looking foolish and start obsessing about getting momentum. So, here's your challenge for today. Do not just watch this video and nod your head. Action over theory. I want you to download the execution audit. I put a link in the description. It's free. Print it out. Find your MVA for that one project that has been haunting you and do it today. Stop planning. Start walking. I'll see you on the next one.